Welcome to Superhuman Customs. I'm Stephen Human, and on this channel we just customize action figures, generally McFarlane figures, but you never know. I kind of just do whatever I want, and today we've got another movie figure. Now I've been building up the movie shelf, as you guys have seen. We've added Shazam, we've added Wonder Woman, we've added Flash, we've got all these Snyderverse movie figures, and we are now adding Cyborg. And what we're gonna do with him today is that we're gonna do a wash, we're gonna darken him up, and then we're gonna lighten him up. We're gonna silver him up a little bit. So this is just gonna be a repaint, nothing crazy. We are gonna get rid of what looks like the big blood smear here on his chest, and maybe put some glow in the dark paint in there, I'm not sure. We're gonna play around and have some fun, so let's get started. To begin, we're just gonna use my Vallejo Game Wash, and we're going to cover him 100%. Maybe not the face like that. That was an accident. We are just gonna go all over, and I'm gonna go thick on this because I want it to get everywhere in all of these nooks and crannies, because we're gonna lighten him up after this. So he needs to get darkened. And this is the best way to do it. And you can already see the contrasts coming out really nice. And there's so many details in here that this current paint job just does not grab a hold of. And with this, oh, it's grabbing it. It's grabbing it, nice. So the thing about this interpretation of the character is that, you know, it made sense with all of the angles and stuff. They really wanted it to look, you know, not quite human. But with the toy as it is, a lot of these details, like the angles and stuff, just don't stand out at all. And so I'm really excited to see all of these angles, like especially in the legs and in some of the arms, where there's just a little bit of change of angle. I'm excited to bring these to life. And we are just covering him every square inch. And even just like, I mean, obviously we're gonna lighten him up a little bit, but like we always say, this wash, it does an amazing job, especially with characters that need to be more realistic. I don't do a lot of this on some of my other figures that are, you know, comic book figures and stuff, but on these movie ones, it has been an absolute necessity in order to just make them pop and make them a little bit more real looking. And you can see what it does here. I mean, yeah, he's darker and we're gonna lighten him up, but man, put a liberal amount of this stuff on and boom, suddenly he's like, just comes to life. All right, let's let him dry, but man, he's already looking pretty awesome just as he is. I can't wait to put this lighter coat on. He's all dry, and now we're just gonna get a little bit of the silver on, and we're gonna start going over the top. And sometimes you'll need more, sometimes you'll need less, but just start out lightly hitting it. Because what I want is just to cover the top. I don't want to get into the little areas where the wash has hit. I want this to go over the top so that those will stay nice and dark and vibrant. So just keep moving around. And if you see areas where you want to add more, you want it to be more silver, then go ahead and add those. But wait until after you've done kind of a complete coat on him first to see where he's at. Because you don't want to catch yourself getting too into these cracks. So you want all the details to hang out. When moving on to the face, you want to get even less of the paint on the brush. Because you don't want to overdo it. You want to hit those areas. And then remember, you can come back and you can add more. You don't want to overdo it to start. You really, really don't. Once you've got him to where he's looking pretty good, go ahead and start adding in some of these little areas here on the edges, where you're just adding a little bit more silver. You're just making it stand out a little bit more. Remember, this will go a long way to adding detail and texture to this figure. So you want to hit these edges and just make them so that they stand out a little bit more. He's scraped up against something, you know, he's hit something. That's cool. All that does is give life to the figure. And with a figure that's supposed to look realistic like this, those little things will do the trick.
He's looking really nice and shiny. What I'm gonna do now with the wash is just, I'm gonna hit some of these little seams just a little bit, just enough to highlight them. So just in some little lines, I'm gonna go through and just highlight some of these areas. That's all. I wanna make it so that these things stand out a little bit more, but just a little. I don't want it to be anything too big, but just so that then the silver stands out a little bit more. And these little areas are just highlighted and you see some of these details a little bit better. That's all. He's just about done. I think he's looking great. The details are really standing out. I'm gonna do something different now though. So I do wanna have, something there in the middle, a glow. I don't care for the red. I'm gonna go with some glow in the dark fabric paint. And I'm just gonna fill in that spot here and put the line in. And yes, it's not accurate to the movie. I don't care. I think it will stand out. Plus the fact that it's glow in the dark, it will in fact glow in the dark, which is cool. And I'm gonna add it here to his little thing as well. I'm just gonna kind of go over it, fill in those spots, and then with my finger, wipe at it, and then it will just fit in the individual things. So that's gonna kind of be my last hurrah on this figure. Yes, it's gonna be different, but that's how I want it to look. And since this is my figure, this is how he's gonna look.
He is done, but I've decided to do one more thing. So I got this little, it's like a little light off of some type of weird funky flashlight that was broken. I'm gonna put it so that it comes out of his back and comes over his shoulder like a gun or something. There was a thing in the movie where he did that. And so we're gonna finish this guy off with that. So simply, we're just gonna drill a hole in the back here with the drill. And I hope that it's in the right place, because there's no guarantee when it comes to stuff like that. There we go. Nice and simple, and this should be big enough to shove this thing in. Maybe. So it fit in the hole, but it doesn't bend enough to go over his shoulder. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of drilling a line here on his back up, and I'm going to put the thing in there and simply glue it in place. All right. Not bad. And here we are. Very simple repaint, but I think it turned out pretty great. Now what I like is with this glow-in-the-dark paint, it does always tend to have a sort of glow about it, especially in lower light, which then just adds a little bit, for me, to the character. Now, if you wanted it to be more realistic or more based off what it was, I would just advise putting a little red line down there as opposed to the big blood stain that they had originally. That would probably do the trick. I like this because it just adds a little bit of quirkiness to it, and that's kind of what I'm into. I also did the dot on his forehead in the same. So when it's put in low light, it's got a glow to it, and that is cool. So this is my Cyborg. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Subscribe, tell your friends. All we're here to do is to have fun. Sometimes we screw up, sometimes we make masterpieces. It just kind of depends. But thank you guys for joining me. I'm Stephen Human with Superhuman Customs, and I'll see you next week.